This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 829 for the week of Monday, August 5th, 2024. My name is Steve, and it's a Steve episode. I'm hosting this week, but it's all good. I'm in good company here. Of course, I'm joined by another Steve N, and that is our very special guest, translator for One Piece and Weekly Shonen Jump, Stephen Paul. How's it going today, Stephen?
It's going good. The Steven faction is represented very strongly in this call.
Steve-elution.
That's right.
We should call it. Let us know your Steve stable names in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube, I guess. I'm sorry. Too used to watching YouTube. But also joining us, storyboard artist and just a sweet pal. It's Josh McKenzie. How's it going, Josh?
Many are saying this. Hello, my little goslings.
Welcome back. 2 weeks in a row. Lucky us.
Can't get rid of me.
And also joining us, editor of the podcast, one fourth of the Fontanas, and our adorable little ragamuffin. It's Delaney. Welcome back, Delaney.
Well, golly, Steve, I'm just so tickled pink to be back on the show. For reference, we have uncovered the glory that is the Fantana's ad campaign.
Oh, I didn't uncover. I knew. It
no, Steve
dormant.
Knew, but
like the Iron Giant.
I was not of the age, Steve, but we have accepted them into our hearts and now inhabit their souls as if they were tulpas to us. So that's this week's bit.
I just had to hear the Fantana song again, and I came rising out of the ocean.
Yeah, it's lore for olds, to be sure.
Yeah. And then we're also joined this week, first time guest. It's Rafael Motamayor from IGN. How's it going?
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, pleasure to have you on the show. And of course, you're a first-time guest, and our listeners always know first-time guest means we got to just ask you about your One Piece backstory. How did you come across One Piece?
So I watched bits and pieces on Cartoon Network when I was a kid, but I never really got into it, mostly because I was like lost. I didn't like watch from the beginning, and I kind of forgot about it, and I always knew it as this like larger than life title manga and anime that I would one day get into, but never did until last year. Was it last year? Yeah, last year I just decided, screw it, I'm gonna start reading it because I figured it was faster and I didn't have to like sit down in front of a TV or a laptop in order to watch. I could just read whatever. And
you could enjoy One Piece on a hammock if you wanted to.
Yeah. And I was, I did a lot of traveling that year, so it was easier to just on planes be like, I could sleep or I could read One Piece, and I just never slept. And I got super into it. And now here I am, all caught up.
Nice. And you're in Norway, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And looking forward to Elbaf at all. I'm curious.
I was born in Venezuela, in Latin America, and I live in Norway, and I really like the way that, for better and worse, all that grabs from different cultures and twisted them around for his own vision. I love the way he portrays like Mesoamerica in Skypiea, so I'm really curious to see what he does with like Viking culture in Elba. What little we already saw, I really liked, so I'm excited.
What brought you to Norway? I'm curious.
My family moved like 15 years ago. My dad got a job here, so we got moved away.
Oh, cool. All right, so let's ask you some One Piece questions here. Who's your favorite Straw Hat?
I'm gonna say Chopper.
Chopper.
The moment he first showed up, I'm all in on the Chopper train.
Nice. Who's your favorite like non-Straw Hat?
So I've never been able to forget when we first met Ors Jr. in Marineford, and that made such a big impression on me, even though he didn't appear for very long. It just for me, that was the sort of the best example I have on just the way this series makes you care about the smallest of characters that appears for like 2 minutes and then it's gone forever, and you're never able to forget about it. That's original for me.
Wow. That's I never hear that pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are rare answers. I think
That's quite the Blorbus Blorbo you got there. That's a big
Glad. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
So, which is great because I didn't ask this before that question, but that opens up the next question. Who's your favorite villain?
Ooh, that is a good one. I mean, I recently rewatched Skypiea, and everything with Enel is he's such a different villain because of how little we still know and not know about him, and the presence that he has and what he means, and just he has this, for my money, the best reaction shot in the entire One Piece series.
Classic.
So I'm gonna say that. Yeah.
He invented it, yeah. He's still one of my favorites for sure. Hopefully he comes back in the story one day.
I know.
We've been waiting for 15 years on this podcast. What's your favorite arc?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Skypiea again. I think for me, I am one of the rare people. There's dozens of us who not only
Most
do
of them are
I
on
not
the show.
think it's
Yes.
they're all right here in this call. Yeah.
yeah, I'm in good company. Yeah, I think for me that was just the moment where I realized, like, oh, this story can be whatever the hell it wants to be, and it will always make sense. For me, just as a standalone story, it's just a perfect adventure. The kind of like it's like seeing Raiders of the Lost Ark for the first time.
Yeah.
And you're like, this story has everything. It is still like the most like parody thing that Straw has ever do, and you're like, we're here for treasure, and that's it. And then we steal the treasure, even though it's technically it was a game, but they don't know it. It's fine. And it has so many moments of both, like the emotion, the laughs, the adventure. For me, it's like a perfect encapsulation of everything One Piece does right.
Mm-hmm. No,
Yes.
yeah. What's great about like that giant Skypiea stretch is it's really like you could jump into that without really having to know everything because it is kind of like a clean slate. And while like no other arc surrounding it really kind of set it up or like deal with the consequences of it, now we're kind of going back and we're kind of putting like relevant like Oda. I'm not writing the story. Oda's kind of like connecting a lot of relevant things to the current story with Skypiea. So no, yeah, it's
Vindication.
Yeah. I don't know who the hell started coining the phrase you could skip Skypiea, but we've never believed
They were
it.
wrong.
Yeah, they're actually in
wrong.
prison
They were
now. So.
And if
If you hate Skypiea, you go to hell when you die.
thank you, Captain Lou, famous pirate, Captain Lou Albano.
Yep.
And just one more question: if you kept up with the anime, I'm curious what your favorite opening song was.
Ooh, so I didn't watch it like completely. I sort of like I read it and whatever I was like, oh, this looks good. I'm gonna check out the anime part. So I didn't. I only listened to the song retroactively. So I'm not like the best judge of opinion on that because I only heard it like a couple of times. But like We Are just for me still like is the one that I kept going back to, even though I didn't listen to it like episode by episode. Is the one that I listen to the most, if at all. So yeah, I'm just gonna go with that.
Still the blueprint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For reference, the impact of We Are is so great that I, who never watched any of the anime whatsoever, like, when I heard it in the Netflix show, even I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen an episode of the One Piece anime. I have no mental baggage attached to that. And even then, I'm like, oh, okay.
I don't know, like, because I'm not the biggest anime aficionado, but it feels like one of the last anime that has like a theme song. I think going forward, everything is always just licensed music. Like promoting a band. Like Naruto doesn't have like a theme song. It has like some great BGM, but like like We Are as a theme song. It's kind of like with Dragon Ball, like even though Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z had a bunch of openings, they still always make callbacks to it.
I mean, I think it's the fact that they use the instrumental for that song throughout. They still use it every once in a while. So I think that helped. Like, this is the sound of One Piece, and you're absolutely right. I don't think they do that often at all.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. No, glad that you're definitely. I think you're in good company here. I think a lot of similar tastes here. I'm refraining from calling us oldies, but we definitely are.
Why would you hesitate to call us that, Steve?
Well, because Delaney is the one Ute we got in here.
Collecting pennies on the corner of my hat.
So for today's episode, we of course the manga is back for a week. Shonen Jump is off next week, but we're going over chapter 1122. Time is Right, and we'll also have an anime recap for episode 1114 for the beloved Pupil, the Fist of Vice Admiral Garp. Sam will be joining us to talk about that, and of course we'll have Piece Together. We'll take your questions, comments, everything else you want to throw at us this week. But before that, just a little bit of news. We'll promote this for the One Piece podcast. We're having a live show at the Cine Winery in New York City, August 25th, 7 p.m. I'll be there. Josh will be there. We as in like Zach, Alex, and a bunch of others, did a live show months back, and Cine Winery is nice enough to have us again. Come join us Sunday evening. If there's a manga chapter, we'll probably just be doing a live episode. If not, who knows? But
I've already begun planning my outfit. This is really big for me, so definitely come to see that.
He's not even joking. He's really doing that.
Yeah.
I do feel for Zach if he has to pull together another like last minute presentation about the moon.
Shut up, Delaney. What are you talking about? The last minute presentation. But other than that, just a little bit of news with One Piece. One Piece and Kurasushi are running a promotion. It just started on Friday, August 2nd. If you go there, you'll see a bunch of One Piece banners, and you'll get some little One Piece prizes, of course, like any other conveyor belt sushi. If you don't know what conveyor belt sushi is, Google it. I don't have the time to teach you. But not just that, a bunch of other fun promotions they're doing. They have Luffy-inspired sushi there. They have a roll and nigiri. That's just like a big slab of roast beef on there with some spicy sauce. And also, you could get a exclusive Kura Sushi and One Piece tumbler, which is like a reusable plastic cup with straw and straw topper. Don't forget the straw topper. Those are available for like a limited time. But if you purchase those, you could get free refills on soft drinks from now through, I think, September 30th. And if you spend over $80, you get a cooling towel.
That's piracy, baby. Free soda.
But yeah, Josh and I actually went on this past Friday and enjoyed ourselves, had some sushi, and I got my cup. That's the thing. I got my cup. I'm going to shake it by the microphone. There we go.
You got a cooling towel as well, didn't you?
I got a cooling towel for my hot sweats in the middle of the night.
Yeah, listener, if you can't tell, Steve's currently draped in the towel. It's how he's beating the heat.
I'm going for hard mode this summer. No AC. No, I'm kidding. All right. Great. Well, with that out of the way, why don't we talk about some manga? Y'all ready?
Let's do it.
This is the manga recap for chapter 1122. Time is Right. And One Piece graces the cover of Shonen Jump this week with a bunch of other characters. Steven, why don't you chat us up about that?
It's 1984's Break-In has come to Shonen Jump. I'm not sure what
even I have to Google
that. I don't know what the occasion is for this. I mean, I know that My Hero is ending. Maybe it's just breaking news that one of the pillars of Shonen Jump, has ended this week. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I'm gonna
say it does look like Luffy is mushing Deku out of the way.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at the composition on the Viz Shonen Jump site. I don't have the Japanese cover in front of me, so maybe they're arranged slightly differently. But yeah, here it does look like he just pushed Deku on his ass and is taking center stage.
Yeah, that's nice, kid.
Yeah.
Wait, Breakin', because Breakin' 2 is Electric
Boogaloo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. First, I thought you said break in. I'm like, okay. Yeah, it's an older movie, kids, but
It checks out.
Yeah. All right. So, what do we got on the cover page this week, Steven?
Yes. So I mentioned My Hero Academia, and here we have this is chapter 1122. Time is right. And it is a cover request. Requestee not delineated here, but it is redraw the artwork of Smoker, a boy from Aichi Prefecture, submitted 22 years ago. And if this looks familiar, that is no surprise, because as you can see here, he wrote Hero Academia, and that was where it clicked for me, because I translate this stuff. So the first thing I do is I just look at the text at the bottom. I'm like, okay, what am I translating here? And I'm like, okay, boy from Aichi Prefecture, like what? 22 years ago. And then I look up and I see like Hero Academia, and I'm like, oh, it's for Horikoshi. And I'm like, oh wait, this is the illustration that he submitted back. In fact, you can see it on his jacket. Shit. 23 UGK Usopp Gallery Kaizokudan, the Usopp Gallery Pirates, in volume 23 was it was just right there among all of the other illustrations, just one of the the ones that was selected for the volume. It was a drawing of Smoker, and it said One Piece on the smoke. So this is basically Oda is repaying the favor here by paying tribute to the fan art that Horikoshi sent in long ago. And he did bring this up in the SBS in one of the volumes. I think it was shortly after My Hero started and got big. And so I think Horikoshi, this is like his third series. So he had been around, but I don't think he had actually said like, hey Oda, like I submitted, I'm in your fan art section from when I was a kid. But I think he either told him or Oda found out somehow when My Hero really took off. So it was probably around Punk Hazard or maybe the start of Dressrosa, one of those volumes. It is in the SBS where Oda reprints that illustration and stuff. So if you have the English volumes, even though they don't put the Japanese fan illustrations, this one is in there because it was in the SBS. It's just a great tribute. I think this is the second time he's done this after Naruto now. So,
I was kind of expecting like, oh, is he gonna draw like Luffy and like Deku. Where their faces are obscured? But I think this is a really cool tribute, and I think this is kind of like a full circle. Like, when you're senpai, sorry, I couldn't even think of the English word for it. That was the first game. When he kind of gives you the nod and kind of repays the favor. It's like, hey, I drew what you drew. I thought that, and I recognized this like right away. I think I was just looking at the Smoker and I'm like, I think this is reference to and of course I didn't read the Hero Academia on the right there, but really cool rendering here. I really like when Oda kind of like breaks from his normal kind of routine and he goes like crazy with like the heavy black shadows here. This is badass. But Josh is our resident Smoker fan.
I saw this and I was like, wow, what a dreamboat, and simply moved on. I had no idea there was such a cute story behind it. So he's sexy and there's meaning. I think that's great. That's art, baby.
What more could you want?
What more could you want?
He's tragisexual.
Right.
Yeah. All right. On that note, too, I will extend a professional congratulations to a friend of the podcast, Caleb Cook, for finishing his duty in the Hero Academia mines. He has finished the whole series from start to finish. So
Thank you for your service, King.
Congrats to him.
Thank you.
And here me and Oda still are working away. No rest.
Oh, get to work, Steven. What do we got on?
Yeah, let's get into it here. So we begin. Speaking of Dressrosa, here we are in one of the squares there, and we have the return of the shirts. The shirts are back. These the one is more of a jacket, but they are reacting to the end of Vegapunk's message last chapter, where he told everyone that the one who controls the fate of the world will be the one who finds the One Piece, and so. All these people are reacting. A pirate's going to control the world, and so first off, the guy on the left with the star shirt, where it looks like it is Mono 2. That is Mono Ni, and that is basically he's just repeating the very end of the bubble, the text bubble. So he's the one who's doing the direct quote there. The one who has is that. Oh, which Tontada is that on his shoulder?
Oh,
I don't.
The blue-haired one. Is that the one that got?
I think blue-haired
that Zoro interacted with.
Yeah, it's not Flapper, but
no,
it
can't
is.
forget Flapper.
Yeah,
they did.
Yeah,
canonically at one point.
Sorry, the pronouns Tontada because it's got the blue hair. Sorry, everybody.
I think it's pretty good. Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's going to bug me now. But anyways, so yeah, there's another guy who is really facing front and center here, who appears to have the words Fuza Na, but there's a sword there. The sword, and sword is Ken in Japanese, so he's actually saying Fuzaken Na, which is basically if you have watched enough anime and it's subtitled. You may recognize that phrase, which is like "screw that" or like "fuck you." So he is protesting this pronunciation of pirate rule in the future. So they and he too has a Tontada on his shoulder. That
reminds me. I don't know what the country of origin this fashion line was, but I saw a lot of people from Asia wearing this. They just basically were shirts that just said "fuck you" in English on it.
Nice.
I don't know what the brand was, but I used to see them like all the time, and I'm like, So maybe this is just a brand where it's just,
yeah,
screw you, the clothing line or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a real idiocracy type of brand, but so then we cut to another very tropical, almost like a Pacific Islander looking. Place. We see some palm trees and some guys with their shirts off and big tats and stuff. And this guy is saying, "Wait a second, do you realize what you're saying, Vegapunk?" And then we cut to, by contrast, a very cold climate. Some folks with their hoodies, they look kind of almost Inuit style. And they're going, "No, are we going to sink into the ocean too? Do something, Navy." So they want help. And then at the bottom here, we see a nondescript island with a bunch of pirates on it, and they are all excited. "The greatest genius in the world just proved it. We got to go get it. The One Piece does exist." And we have this trio of like very conspicuously designed characters in the front here. They kind of look like they came from the cast of Mystery Men or something. And I
was saying the center one looks very Dr. Teeth.
Yeah, the Muppet. He's got the big hair, fringe and with the beard and everything in the top hat. So these are, and I will give credit to Greg because he clocked these guys immediately. Like as soon as he had read this chapter, he was like, "Oh, I know these guys." And they are called the Fumbari Curry Pirates. And I honestly do not know what possessed Oda to reference these guys. But this was it was part of a Jump promotion back in, I want to say It might have been like 99 or 2000. So it was probably around the time of like, say, Whiskey Peak or so in the story. So very early on. They did some kind of a reader promotion, and I don't even know like what the nature of the promotion was, but like I think it was like readers were supposed to submit their pictures of themselves as like their own crew or something similar to that. And so basically the quote unquote prize, or like the final stage, was after they had determined a winner, then Oda designed his own personal crew. And so he basically, these are 3 mangaka, jump mangaka. I will tell you who they are, and you will recognize all 3 of them. Not from the drawing, but just the names. So at the time, of course, remember this is still early on in One Piece. The guy in the middle is Oda, the Dr. Teeth one, and his name is what is his character name? His name is like Hippie the Dokuro Curry, which means like a skull, the skull curry. The guy on the left is what was his name? It was like
Hiroyuki Takei.
Oh yeah, it is Takei, but I don't remember the name of the character. But the guy who has the kind of like the sword like squid outline on his head with the mustache. That one is Takei, the author of Shaman King. And then on the right is Scimitar Da. He's got the scimitar, the weapon, and then the Da is just like it's like the Da in Oda. And that one is everyone's favorite, Nobuhiro Watsuki.
Boom.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna just listen like, here's Oda, yay, Takei, yay,
Watsuki.
The other one.
Yeah. So yeah, I really don't know what possessed him to go back to these. I mean, I guess it's cool that he can pull them out of the closet, but of course, any time there's any mention of Watsuki in at least on the Western side, people don't want to hear from that guy. They're sick of this guy now. Yeah. And if you don't remember why, a quick Google search will certainly tell you the answer.
And
yeah,
we're not going to talk about it.
We don't want to
anymore.
hear about it.
Yeah. We did a whole. I think myself, Zach, and Ed did like a whole podcast. I think talking about it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
we kind of lay it all.
It's a complicated situation for One Piece fans, I think. And speaking of complicated here, we go to what looks like Impel Down, where the prisoners are, well, they're not really rioting. They're still captured. They're behind bars, but they are all roaring with delight. Pirates are going to rule the world, and that's why the world sank under the waves, huh? Your days are numbered, world government. And they are cheering and carrying on. You can even see the guards in the foreground looking rather concerned. They got sweat coming off. And in the control room, one of these guys, very good question, why are you playing it for them? And the other one, the guy at the controls, is like, all the transponder snails in the prison activated on their own. There's no way to stop it. So this is Vegapunk was making use of that, the back doors that the CIA puts on all the computers and stuff. They have
I'll just say I'm very surprised we haven't seen any of the new Kamabaka Queendom or whatever it's called, Paradise in Impel.
Yeah,
I'm shocked Oda hasn't shown anything from there at all.
Maybe he's still saving. I mean, there's still probably at least one more chapter here before we leave.
Bon Clay and Eneru just on deck,
yeah, they're waiting,
just sitting there with their ticket, just waiting to be called up.
They formed the "Did you miss us yet?" pirates. We're just
there you go.
I'm not going to draw that because then people are going to be like, "Oh my God, they're back!" And I'm like, no.
And then we see some Navy officers here, all dressed up in their costumes. And one of them is holding his head in his hands. He's like, how can this be happening? He can't
costumes. This is how I dress.
He's not face palming because that's not his face. He's helmet palming. And this guy in the front here who looks familiar. I feel like have we gotten a name for this guy?
This guy, he's been in the story since Jaya.
Yeah.
He was at the meeting with the warlords. I forget his name.
And he's like, "What have you done, Vegapunk?" And we turn to Kobe, where he is still recovering on his hospital bed here, as Hibari is sitting nearby, concerned, and it looks like Prince Groose, or is that Helmeppo? I forget who has the
that's Groose,
the jacket. Yeah, he is standing just off center, and Kobe's thinking to himself, "Luffy, I have to something." And then we get a flashback to chapter 2 of the series, and I remember this because if you use the Shonen Jump app, you may you know how it works when you scroll through the list of chapters. And so of course, to get this quote while I'm sitting at my desk so I don't have to go up and get my book, the easiest thing is I'll just look on the Shonen Jump app and go check chapter 2. And so when I woke up this morning to check out the latest chapter on my phone, I was like, oh no, the app is all the way down at chapter 2, and I have to scroll manually for like 2 minutes to get up to all the way to chapter 1122. Anyways, a very memorable scene of Kobe confronting Luffy when Luffy tells him his dream. King of the pirates, wealth, fame, power, you'd have to achieve it all. Don't tell me you're after the One Piece. And Luffy is just smiling benignly.
Stop staring at me like that and respond to me.
He's staring because Kobe looks like Morgan Davies and not just like OG Chapter 2 Kobe, who was the real little ragamuffin.
Yeah.
He just looks like a boy now.
But
That's a child.
Luffy still looks like that picture of Fishman Island Luffy, just staring blankly at the screen.
That's his thought bubble. His thought bubble is just I don't know, like the bird dipping into the glass of water.
That's another old person reference. That's it. The Fishman Island Luffy's a good Luffy. I don't know why everyone's mad about it.
No, it's that drawing of Luffy.
I think it's nice. I think he looks very polite in that drawing.
It's that one go-to picture of Luffy that everyone uses, who clearly doesn't watch One Piece. They're like, here's the character. It's the same with that one picture of Goku too. It's just like there's so many better pictures of Goku. You don't have to use that one.
Stop bullying him. I think he's nice.
It's just because smiling it was the default picture on the wiki, so whenever you search, that's the first thing that pops up is whatever image Google pulls off of the fandom wiki. So yeah,
I forgot about this panel because this same scene takes place in the anime, but it's in a different location, so it's a little bit different. But like Luffy here, I thought his arm was kind of crossed like over a little bit, so I thought like he was like kind of like, I don't know, like his right shoulder is a little more further back and his left hand is going over his leg. So he's just like really kind of just like I'm listening to you, but I don't care what you're saying, Kobe's. But no, I think it's just a regular sitting pose. But Stainless, by the way, is the name of the Vice Admiral with the mustache.
Oh, there you go.
Stainless. Never gets anything on his clothes.
Yeah, Mr. House of Gucci over here.
Just doesn't eat spaghetti, apparently. But sorry, we left off that dramatic cliffhanger of what Kobe was saying. Luffy, I have to, and then, boom, we get a serious face. He says, I have to stop your dream from being realized. Oh no, it happened.
Yep.
They're if only Kobe knew. He is the joy boy. But Kobe and Luffy kind of coming head to head. It's interesting because Kobe's always kind of like built up Luffy, except for that one time when Luffy punched him in the face in Marineford. But that's some crazy tension to look forward to now. But then we cut away to what was it? It's not Bluff Island. It's not Bluffington.
Empty Bluffs.
Empty Bluffs. Thank you, Empty Bluffs Island. And we get Buggy here saying, "The world is mine, you idiots! Who said I wanted such a thing?" And we get the Peanut Gallery here. You see me here with all of my scars on my face saying, "Oh, but Chairman Buggy." And then we get this cool like close up on Buggy again, just dramatic, saying, "The world is ours, right?" And then everyone just cheers. And someone is, and someone's, we get cheers and tears as someone says, "Everybody," and then "We'll follow you to the depths of hell." And we get some really well detailed pirates in this group shot here, and a rare woman. But she has like she has a great design here. I really like her hair and pointy nose, and she's in love. She is smitten. And who isn't over Buggy? And then so is that other guy who kind of looks like he looks like Crunchy the Clown Usopp. This looks like the Usopp that shows up at a kid's party. It's like, that's not Usopp.
That's true. Like, yeah. Well, I guess those aren't goggles, but he has like a do-rag on or something that has a little pattern. Kind of looks like. I love that they're all turning away because you can tell that they're all swooning. They're literally swooning. They've turned on their heels because they can't bear the thought of
His Majesty.
Mm-hmm. No, nobody in this room is having a heterosexual thought about Buggy.
Especially behind the scenes when we peek behind the curtain of the Great Wizard of Oz here, and we see the members of Cross Guild here, Crocodile and Mihawk, sitting in silence, listening to this crowd response, and then Crocodile just says, "Sit," and Buggy says, "Yes, sir." And then we cut away, and we're with Katarina Devon and Ogre here, leaving Egghead, which I often forget they were there, with everyone's least favorite ragamuffin, Caribou, and and this is Devon calling Teach, saying, "What's the plan? We could kill him right now." And Teach is like, "Who, Caribou?" And then Caribou's like, "Please, Master Teach, what happened? Listen to my pitch; it will delight you." It's a great idea. And then we get this nice panel of Blackbeard here with these bedroom eyes here, and he says, "Bring him to me. If what he has to say doesn't blow me away, we'll blow him away."
Oh, please.
Not a heterosexual thought on this chat.
Between this panel and Crocodile, a couple panels up, going, "Sit," with that Tumblr GIF, horrible. It's like there's a lot going on this one page. There's too much going on.
And we have Vegapunk here to say, "That is simply the truth." But this is a very important piece of dialogue here. This is Vegapunk's broadcast still going, but we cut to this wide shot here of Egghead, and Vegapunk's broadcast says, "The truth. Joy Boy is..." Who is Joy Boy?
That's your Jeopardy answer.
I like that we've been having reaction shots from everyone about the important lore drops, but nobody's frustrated by Vegapunk cutting away every time he's about to say something important about Joy Boy or the D-Clan. Nobody's like, what is he saying? What was he going to say?
It's like when you're watching like a video or something, and then it has to like buffer. Everyone's just like, everyone's just used to it. Everyone like when they see the circle, that's when everyone kind of just talks amongst themselves. So.
Is this what everyone was feeling when, like, Geraldo Rivera was going through, like, Al Capone's safe, and, like, every 10, 20 minutes, it's like, "Don't worry, we're gonna show it at the end," and then they show it's just empty inside. It's just
there's
the basement.
Nothing in Al Capone's vault. But it wasn't Geraldo's fault. Sorry.
That was pretty good, Steve.
I know. Mm-hmm. It's from The Simpsons. I stole it.
Okay, so Vegapunk's broadcast is again cut off because the I don't have them memorized. I'm so sorry. The pig elder has impaled Emmett here with a tusk. Workury has impaled Emmett with a tusk. You can see it even from the giant's ship. Dorian Brogy, Iron Giant, and we see that the transponder snail, the one that Vegapunk is hacking into all other snails, has taken yet another hit. This might be the end for this poor transponder snail, because it has taken it is not only X'd out eyes, but then it has blank eyes, which is never good for one's health.
Stronger than any U.S. Marine.
Absolutely. And then on the next page here, we have the Sunny still flying that whole kilometer off of Egghead. The other one, again, I don't have their names memorized. The horse is chasing Sunny.
Vinastro.
Thank you. It's that horse Gramps again. Do something, Zoro. And then we get these great, these quick cuts of Zoro and the Elder and Usopp and Chopper and Nami. It's all about to be so over. And then we cut back to Emmett here, and he's apologizing to Joy Boy. Sorry, Joy Boy. I'm still thinking about the crocodile panel on Steve's spread. Sorry, I didn't get a chance to mention it earlier.
So it looks like is it on fire? Our boy, our big Robo.
He's
I think
surrounded
that's
by the
just
fire.
he's surrounded by the fire.
Yeah.
He's surrounded by the fire. He just looked a bit inflamed. But he's creaking and struggling to stay up, and Luffy from behind him screams, "Giant Robo!" And the robot says, "I wanted to apologize. Deep down,
are we just calling him every trademark imaginable?
Yeah.
So the Transformer says, "Deep down, I knew that you couldn't still be alive." And Luffy asks, "Huh? Are you confusing me for someone else?" And he says, "But you look so much like him that it brings back the warm feelings I had that day." And the Sunny, by the way, is just hurtling through the air. You can see everyone screaming still.
It's still good. It's still good.
And Spider What's-His-Nuts is falling apart as Emmett says, "I'm sorry, Joy Boy. Sorry that I couldn't make you king." And it looks like the five elders have completely overtaken the island. Emmett's holding them off. The marine ships are all kind of fucked up. And from the giant ship, you hear people shouting, "Look out! That earthworm monster! We can't escape! It's gonna sink us!" But Luffy just listens and says, "King?" And Emmett, no, this must be a flashback.
No, that's Emmett.
So what's your...
That's Emmett.
Oh, it is Emmett. So what's your name?
The big spread here with the earthworm one and everything going on.
So rad.
It's great, and it's perfect for a record scratch, and it's so you might be wondering how I got here. Yeah, that panel rocks.
It's the kind of tableau where if it was a movie, they do the very slow pan around the freeze frame, with the CG. Yeah.
Oh, the anime's gonna have a field day with this. Look at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think Raphael is next.
Raphael.
Yeah, this is where Luffy just screams out his name, address, and social security number. He shouts, "I'm Monkey D. Luffy, the man who will be king of the pirates." And Emmett just clings on the D part of the name. He seems very curious. Just says D, and immediately that triggers something because he immediately removes what it looks like, just like a knob or a panel from his body, revealing a knot. And as soon as he pulls it, the knot unties and it triggers a massive chunk of haki. We see the Marines just absolutely gobsmacked. one of them, Emmett just screams, just shouts, "Hey, Luffy!" As we see all the Marines just being immediately knocked back by the haki, knocked out by it. Luffy just recognizes it as Call of the Supreme Haki, Call of the Supreme King. I mean, he seems very surprised, as I was. And Emmett just says, "Thank you." He says, "Thank you for letting me hear that old familiar rhythm." As he just knocks away every single Marine inside, and he just knocks out the entire island. He just says, "Don't die, okay? I won't let you die."
So fucking dope.
That's so cool.
Again, what I said. We've been waiting all this time, but just 2 pages, enough to make me cry about this damn robot that I didn't know a month ago.
I've had this robot for 2 days, and already I would die for him.
Yeah, this was like a cool thing. I think Alex like reminded me of this. Like, this is similar to like the tech with Area, right? Like the what's his name? Show Denami.
It is, yeah. It is. It looks like the same idea, at least, that you undo a knot, and somehow there's like some kind of latent energy that is expended in the process. But what connection that might have is not unknown for now. I like that. I like that he does the motif too of like whenever some really crazy hockey is happening, he has to draw like clouds splitting overhead in that style.
Yeah,
so cool.
Okay, so yeah, the Supreme King hockey goes off as we saw in the previous spread. All the Marines are KO'd instantly. Doll, who in the previous chapter or the previous 2 chapters was turned into a kid by Bonnie. She's hanging on, but she's looking rough. Hockey, such powerful hockey. I can't do a little girl's voice. Such powerful hockey.
Great.
Thank you. I'll take my acting contract. So all the Marines are wiped out. I don't know if this is somebody in the bottom right corner here.
That is Pomsky, I believe.
Okay. He shouts, "Who could be doing that?" And then we see Emmett continuing to emit the hockey. It is fucking up the elders, you guys. So the pig one, the worm one, the horse one, all four of them are sort of like de-rezzing here. They're like burning up, splitting into pieces. They're sort of ceasing to be in an abnormal way. And then we smash to Marijoa, and the 5th one is there sitting as a pile of ashes appears inside of their elder's chamber.
Can I talk about how funny Marcus Mars just sitting here, arms crossed?
First time he's sitting down.
I was gonna say he finally had a chair.
Oh yeah, this is rather nice.
He's not mad. He's just disappointed.
Yeah, he was the player who lost first, and he's just been sitting in the lobby waiting for his teammates to get knocked out in Fortnite.
It's like it's like sitting in my seat. I call fives. It's like what, 500 years? Like, come on.
Yeah. Speaking of Raiders of the Lost Ark too, like we need some cool effects in the anime for these guys getting melted into oblivion.
Yeah, that sort of like spectral deforming will be really great in animation.
I want to see their freaking skulls.
Yeah, man.
Next?
Oh, wait,
I think it's you, Steve.
Oh, I totally didn't realize. I realized I went ahead. But yeah, what I was talking about, the very funny pose of Marcus Mars just sitting here, just waiting, looking at his watch, maybe. It was really funny to me, but also this is very, this is fascinating to see, like, oh, like now the elders are just back here. Like, what does that mean? And one is missing. And then in a wide shot here, we cut to the secret garden of Emu, and Emu is yelling, has fallen to their knees and is yelling, and a servant that we previously have seen, someone says, "Oh, great emu," and we just get another close up of those eyes. They're panting, and they just say, "Joy boy." Very, very, very interesting here. But now we're back and we're seeing the sunny fall pew, from the sky and land in the ocean. And Luffy says, "Hey," it's like, "It's you guys. Are you all right?" And someone's saying, "Where did the monsters go?" And Luffy's like, "I don't know. They're gone." And Dory and Brogy here, and they're just like, what could this mean? And Dory says, "A robot with hockey? How does hockey make people disappear?" Good question. And
it really says something that these guys have been on an island for like what was it, like 100 years? I don't think it was 100 years, but wasn't it like at least 70 years or something like that? And but he still knows what a robot is. Like it's not news to them. The concept of a robot.
It's generational. I thought they're gonna like this is them discovering. And how many songs can I put on this?
Yeah, exactly.
It's called a Zune.
Yeah. And then we're on the deck of the Sunny, and we see Usopp and Chopper hug Jinbei here. Chopper and Usopp are crying, and Jinbei just looks like he almost had a heart attack. And Usopp says, "Ah, I'm so glad we made it down." And I believe this is Sanji. Who else? Yelling, "Nami, are you all right?" And Nami says, "I'm fine." But Atlas and Edison look off into the distance.
Jinbei's getting too old for this shit.
Stop crowding Peepaw. She's space. And I believe we have figured out where that last elder went, which is that he didn't. He's still there facing down Emmett. You see his cane kind of reverting back to shape as Emmett, smoking, just stands in front of him. He's missing a horn. He's just completely blitzed. And I believe it's Spider-Man, what's his nuts? Just kind of panting. He's a bit worn down.
Saturn,
yeah. I don't know. And Emmett just hears a voice in the back of his head. "Remember, Emmett, only when the time is right." And we return to a time long past, where we see a silhouette wearing what looks like a very wide-brimmed hat standing in front of a younger, cleaner, more polished Emmett. And Emmett asks,
and he's wearing pants.
He has overalls.
And he's wearing pants. He's got lederhosen. And he asks with a little question mark right next to his horn, "Time is right? I've tied a knot of the greatest of hockey and locked it inside your body." And Emmett just goes, "Wow!" It's a pipe bomb.
I don't think that's such a good idea, Joy Boy.
"You're gonna keep on living long after I'm dead. There will come a day when I can't help you anymore." "What? No!" "And when your life is in danger, or someone else is in danger, whom you want to protect, that's when the time is right. Go ahead and untie that knot. When the time is right, you'll... Oh, no, is he remembering it? Yeah, no, that's Emmett. "When the time is right, you'll save me? That's right. I'll save you all the way from the past, just like I always do, don't I?" And Emmett responds with a little smile. "Hee, I'm glad. Thank you. Then it's like you're here with me, even after you're dead. Hey, we're talking about a long time in the future, all right? Hee, a long, long time. I hope I don't get lonely." We just
A long time. What do you think about? Like 100 chapters or so?
Yeah, who knows? Emmett just racked with rust.
Gee, I sure hope I don't get lonely.
Oh, God. And that is the end of the chapter this week.
Yeah, and notably, the eyes are out, so it seems like this is the end of Emmett, at least in this time timeline.
A moment of silence for our beautiful boy.
Yeah, that's my precious little guy.
That's my son.
I just want to ask, Delaney, in your Joy Boy voice, can you say, I'm going to be the world's greatest Pokemon master?
I'm going to be the world's greatest Pokemon master. I was going for Keanu because before we started recording, Josh was like, Delaney, I want to hear your Joy Boy. And I was like, I have to make a choice.
I was wondering, it had like a little bit of Keanu and a little bit of 90s anime dub protagonist voice in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I said, Delaney, make a choice, and you picked Keanu?
I did pick Keanu, and I don't regret it.
Great.
Because now everyone else has to match me, and I've set that out. And it's everyone else's problem.
If Joy Boy has a 5 o'clock shadow, it's going to be really awkward. Cool. Well, that was the chapter. Excellent. First of all, why don't we start with Steven? What are your thoughts?
Oh, boy. Yeah. Let's see. Let me scroll back through this chapter. Yeah, really good climactic kind of chapter. So it's one that you can get through real quick. There's a lot of 2-page spreads in it, and I think sort of suitably epic in its execution. I love the the sort of the freeze frame, the record scratch mural that he drew of everybody in the arc all in the same picture at once. That was truly epic. And the blast of hockey. I was trying to remember, like, I think I said a few chapters ago, because he said he was going to do the thing 2 chapters ago. We didn't see it last chapter. And I think I had said something like, what if it's like a devil fruit EMP that like deactivates everyone's powers? And I guess this is kind of that is kind of true. Like, hockey does negate devil fruit powers if it's powerful enough. So or at least certain types of devil fruit powers, like the Logias and stuff. It was very cool to see that and to have it kind of definitively shut down the elders. Of course, Saturn is still there because he was the one who physically traveled on the ship to Egghead, but it doesn't. I get the feeling that he's not going to be able to transform again, at least in this scene. So I would assume that that's the end of that threat, and they'll be able to get away now. I'm not sure what it means for Vegapunk's message, because, like, yeah, the snail did get knocked out, but the snail got knocked out before too. So I'm not necessarily ruling it out that we might get one last little bit of Vegapunk, but it could also be the end of the end of the statement, because I assume that the snail just runs on whatever the snail's power. Like, he doesn't need Emmett to be active in order to cause that transmission to go out across the world. I would guess that's probably something more on the lab itself. It was exciting, a good time, good, very, very thrilling chapter. And I guess the only question left is if there's going to be any more stuff, or is if the next chapter is just going to be like, all right, and then we're going to hit the water running, so to speak. We're just going to straight on to Egghead and not look back and get any last bits of closure or anything. So that remains to be seen. But I'll let you guys go over your thoughts too.
All right, Rafael, what are your thoughts?
So first of all, I want to go back to the Buggy page, because I love every time we see Buggy just stupidly failing upwards, and I am very on board with socialist leader Buggy the Clown, who is the only one that wants to share the treasure. There is not his One Piece, it's our One Piece, and I think that's very funny.
Yeah, Buggy Sanders.
Yes. So I just thought that was very funny. Again, the way Oda gets us to care about a character after like 3 pages
never ceases to amaze me. I love this robot. I will miss Emmett dearly. If this is the last we see of him, and if it is, then what a character. What a lasting impression. And just, yeah, I'm very curious about the whole knot thing, because I remember afterwards that like there's a very prominent knot in the very logo of One Piece. And I read some people like on Reddit speculating that has something to do with this, and that's gonna play like a prominent role in whatever the One Piece actually ends up being. I'm very curious to see if that ends up having any meaning. It probably will be. But yeah, very exciting chapter. I can't wait. If this is the end of Egghead Island, my God, what an arc!
Yeah.
Delaney.
This was a really good chapter, I thought. I'm as much fun as it's been waiting week by week to hear the end of this goddamn answering machine. This was a very fun way to close it out, because I feel like when you're in it, when you're like in that moment of like yes and then it's maybe less fun. Like it's interesting to hear what you get week by week, but it's only once you hit the back end of it and you know definitively, right, this is the information we've got, that you can appreciate what you've been asked to infer. Now that we've hit that point, combined with the fact that we're now what looks like shipping off to Elbaf, is like, all right, I feel like we're in a very good place, and it just helps me appreciate Egghead, which is an arc that I've liked, but I've not been in love with. Now I feel like I have a more complete picture, which is new for me because it was during Egghead that I caught up. But this was all very good. Like everyone is saying, Emmett is my perfect baby child, and he's gone too soon. Lot of great spreads, lot of great visuals. I especially liked, we all talked about how we liked the tableau with the elders coming off towards the ships, but I also quite liked the one where Emmett is undoing the knot, and you can see the hockey rippling across the waves, because even though the island is so minuscule, you get a lot of the scope of the explosion and destruction. I'm like, it's very well laid out. But yes, I'm feeling positive outside of that one panel of Crocodile outing me as a bad person who makes terrible mistakes, and that's my thought on that.
Josh, what about you and your terrible mistakes?
I've never made one. Thank you. No, I thought this was great. My main thoughts are twofold. Something that like really struck me this time is that like, you know, you think a lot about like what the final confrontations are going to be and where like the story is going to end up. Like you think about you know, Luffy versus Blackbeard, you know, Luffy versus the world government, the Straw Hats each resolving in some type of way their own individual life goals. And in the abstract, I thought about Luffy and Kobe. But now I'm thinking about it very concretely, and it's very, I don't know, it's suddenly very immediate and tragic to me, because like their goals are in such direct opposition, and they're both like good guys. And so I think that when they finally have to go head to head, I think it's going to be quite the dramatic moment. It's going to be quite like the bummer, I think. So it's nice to sort of be reminded of like the immediacy of that as we sort of hurtle towards sort of the wrapping up of the story in the next several years. And you know, my other major thought was I love this idea of like hockey being stored in this knot. Yeah, I think that the knots at the Weather Island are definitely something in a similar vein there. But like, you know, we've seen hockey stored in objects in the immediate time, like when Zoro uses his swords. But like, you know, I never considered it being like sealed away for 800 years or whatever. So I mean, I think that's really interesting. I think that's really exciting. and Emmett's my special little guy. So those are my major thoughts about the chapter.
Really glad we've reached this point where we could all universally agree that Emmett is our special little guy now. And he's got his overalls, and I'm sure
Overalls are
Shovel and
adorable.
Pale aren't that far away.
This is not about the chapter anymore. This is our Sun Conference where we all get together and talk about how much we love our mutual child.
I like that he has an X on one of his arms. It reminds me of Chopper, and I kind of want to imagine that Emmett was Joy Boy's Chopper.
Oh, that's so sweet.
The
He's
giant,
the sun
massive
god.
Chopper.
Did we talk about like the style of his overalls, how they look kind of fleecy, like like Viking style, along with his horns.
I haven't mentioned it yet, but yeah, I noticed that very, very Elbaf, very like Usopp time skip design inspired. Yeah, so
To them, he's just a regular sized boy.
damn it, it's just said. I'm like, the Iron Giant, or as the giants of Elbaf refer to him as Iron.
The old Iron Normal over here.
Yeah, Iron. I really enjoyed this week's chapter. It was a great one to come back to after a break, and especially heading into another break. I think this kind of hit like every note it needed to feel like some good payoff and to set us up for what's to come. The buggy stuff is great. Always gets a rise out of us. Enjoyed that, and it was good to kind of establish like, okay, remember these are the things that that are going to be important in the future story. It's just cross guilds, Kobe now trying to stop Luffy, Caribou aligning himself with Teach is very important. These are like it's good. Like these are like, keep in mind these are going to be plot points that we probably won't see like play out entirely, but then when we're going to jump back to these characters, know that a lot of things have probably happened since we last saw them. So I think that was a good reminder. Other than that, I think like the emotional beat with Emmett here was very successful, and it's almost very fitting that Rafael brought up Ors Jr. At the beginning of this podcast. It feels very reminiscent to that. And yeah, with how little you heard of Ors Jr., if that could really click with you, then I'm sure Emmett here is going to become another like beloved character. It was a really cool moment. Sending the elders away, it's interesting because they get warped out. They're like, because they warped in the first place, and then this hockey cancels them out. So all but Saturn are sent back, and we do know that Saturn physically went there himself. So I can't help but I wonder what exactly that teleportation is, if that's just an ability they all have that's related to their fruits, or if it's somebody else. I know, like, I think we talked about before, it's like, are these, are the elders just like the homunculi of Emu or something like that? Because Emu, like, drops to his knees, so clearly this, it could just be dramatic, or could it be something a little more literal, where this hockey affected him and negated some of his powers, and but then again, with Saturn still being there, because if that was the case, maybe Saturn would be
imagine being Emu and just going about your day and suddenly you just feel this hockey that you haven't felt in 800 years.
What's that gif from is it Sailor Moon, or is it another anime? I think it is from Sailor Moon, where he just walking and then he just falls to his knees suddenly.
Yes, Tuxedo Max, walking down the road, just like having a conniption.
Yeah, you're doing your evil machinations, and then suddenly you feel the worst energy you've ever felt in your life, the worst vibes that you've ever experienced.
Which led to the revelation that Emu is just a human-shaped person in a big, stupid hat, which I found very entertaining, because you can literally see, like, the way that they're drawn It's just like, all right, now here's where the head ends and here's where the hat starts.
It's not
Whereas,
stupid.
like-
it's a sleigh.
Agree to disagree. Okay, you can have your wrong opinion.
I'm rooting for Emu to look so stupid. Just like, I feel like that'd be in the spirit of One Piece. Like, no, it's not a badass looking character. It's just someone who just, I don't know, looks like a fucking tube.
I think Brodsky said at the live show, Greg from Ohio is what they want.
Yeah, that would be the most One Piece, but I just want a little bit of elegance in my life, and I won't apologize for that.
I don't know. Like, Oda's so unpredictable that like it's either like it's gonna be a gag or it's gonna be something that's gonna sell trading cards and stuff. So.
I mean, the new most dangerous dude in the One Piece universe that we've now had introduced to us over the course of this arc is just geriatric Mac tonight, so anything's really on the table.
I love most dangerous dude. That's gonna be that's gonna be our power scaling. Like,
Yeah.
who's this week's most dangerous dude?
And Delaney's most dangerous dude.
And this week's most dangerous dude is Emmett, the Iron Giant,
For being a flight risk to my heart.
In his little Santa Claus pants. Yeah, absolutely.
This little lederhosen. I can't get over that every time I remember. He's so perfect and beautiful to me.
I really liked the ending. Our first time actually seeing Joy Boy, who's not a giant. So I guess we could rule out that
Maybe there's some Lord of the Rings type forced perspective going on here.
Yeah, Joy Boy
Just very far away.
Can you come a little closer and tell me that?
I mean, you would do that after having putting a bomb in your child.
Right.
Right, I'm going to stand all the way over here.
Just like a really great note to end on here, and it's going to be really sad, just because Emmett's just going to be left behind here. And now that the elders are gone, I can't help but think, but maybe just like I'm guessing the Buster call will just continue, and the island will be decimated. And I forget, like, because I think the Straw Hats have already been blamed for kidnapping Vegapunk, right?
Yeah, because people were talking about it. I think the last chapter when like Vegapunk was broadcasting.
So I'm guessing because keep in mind like this, like we had the narration that took place in the future saying this huge world-changing event happened. Maybe it is Vegapunk's speech, but I can only assume that the government's going to blame this on the Straw Hats. So the Straw Hats did this, Clearly it was the Straw Hats, and then everyone's going to talk about it like they're commenters on the Citizen app.
Somebody stabbed Peepaw 0.4 miles away.
I knew it was those Straw Hats.
Steve mentioned Joy Boy and not being a giant, but also I wanted to note, if we didn't talk about it already, the fact that he looks to have a peg leg and or a hook for a hand. And I wonder if he also may have an eye patch that we've been waiting for years.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Not ready to rule out the eye patch, which would be,
it would be something.
Of course,
it's
like
the very first para.
It's something, and like people think of, like always call back to when Otis said like he's saving the eye patch. The peg leg. I'm looking at the
It could just be a perspective thing.
The second to last panel,
way
now.
thinner.
It is thin, but then again, Oda could get really skinny sometimes with his anatomy. Because I feel like his right hand is a hand.
It's definitely something to look for, though, in the future.
Yeah.
We see this. And there's another thing too, and I may be cutting someone off on our piece together in case it got mentioned too. But so like very distinctive landscape here with Joy Boy sitting on this big block, and people have been pointing out that when you see like the overhead shots of Zunisha around the Zoe arc. That are surrounding the city are like these big square towers, And Oda's obviously like not really showing us too much detail about the landscape itself. But if you look at like, the top panel on the last page, you can kind of convince yourself maybe that's like the elephant skin, in front of the sea. And so it is possible. I mean, we know that Zunisha is kind of tied to Joy Boy somehow as well. That maybe they're sitting on the back of Zunisha right now.
Is Zunisha laying down? I was like, no, but I totally forgot to factor in. Oh yeah, Emmett could just be on top of Zunisha.
Yeah,
I forgot.
Yeah. Zunisha very big.
yeah, that's possible. That's that's using your noodle there, Steven. Yeah, I was thinking it's possibly Elbaf, but. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's to say? The peg leg thing is interesting though, because Joy Boy is walking away on that last page, and not that there's any other sound effects in this flashback anyway, but there's no sound effect indicating that it's a different sounding step. So I wonder if that's kind of Oda's holding back on that. He's like, I don't want to give that away just yet, but. Good vibes. It's bittersweet. But I think this was like a really positive vibe to end on. I mean, the good guys lost a lot in this arc, but they survived. They made it out, and they're venturing forth, and the truth is out there. Wake up, sheeple. And I think it was good. I can only hope now. I can only suspect now that the next chapter, or maybe the next two chapters, like that's it. We're wrapping up Egghead. And I know we've probably been saying that for like 6 months now, but
yeah, no, I mean the good guys are gone, the bad guys are gone. Egghead's on fire. It seems like it's over.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone should be asking, "Where's York?"
It's hard to miss her, I guess. But
Ayo.
I wonder if she's making it out of there. That's the thing.
She could have done.
I think they must, because then they would have no Vegapunks at all, and I think they probably want an evil Vegapunk. And York made them all think that Lilith is dead, so they think they've got the last Vegapunk.
Mm-hmm. The last Vegapunk starring Tom Cruise.
I'm alive.
So true. What was that?
Like the last unicorn. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh wow.
I'm sorry. You guys too young for that reference?
Yes.
Haven't seen it.
I'm
yet.
not.
Well, on that exciting note, why don't we move on to our next segment?
Let's go.
This is the anime recap for episode 1114 for the beloved Pupil, the Fist of Vice Admiral Garp. I'm your host Sam, and today with me we have Lunchable's own Steve Yurko.
I always come with a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup and a Capri Sun.
Oh, I thought you were going to go for. I thought you were going to address the unhealthy amount of lead in your food.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That explains a lot. I ate a lot of Lunchables back in the day.
All right, so we have a big explosive episode to talk about today.
We sure do.
It opens with some of the pirates on Full Lead Island, a.k.a. Beehive Island. They're all surrounding Kobe, getting their guns ready. Kobe looks nervous, and he jumps in the air in an attempt to dodge, but it looks like it's going to be too late because they're angling their guns up. They're shooting their shots. The bullets are traveling through the air, and then suddenly the bullets turn into flowers. And like the one kind of, I guess, the lead pirate, the leader of the mooks.
Unfortunately, it's go ahead.
Unfortunately, what?
I was about to say, unfortunately, this is how we wish those Vietnam protests back in the day could have ended. But
yeah.
Fortunately, just putting a flower into the the barrel of a gun doesn't stop it.
You got one pirate who we get a gag where he's like, "Oh, it's so cute," and then he throws his gun on the ground like, "This is bullshit."
But it's wrong. Right.
So another one of the pirates is realizing, "Oh, I've heard about this. This is the thing that Vegapunk won the Nobel Peace Prize for." So like some technology that allows gunpowder to turn into flowers, and violence turns to peace, and we get a vulgar looking, like pre-middle age Vegapunk, I would say, like before it was him and Dragon.
Yeah, he's winning in the award, and behind him begrudgingly, witnessing this are a young Caesar Clown, a young Queen, and a young Vince Smoke Judge.
Yeah.
Now, was this mentioned in the manga at Full Lead? Did the pirates say this was a Vegapunk invention?
I certainly remember this conversation happening somewhere. Like,
okay.
Like Vegapunk had this idea of like turning, weaponry into peaceful things, into flowers, and like that's obviously a very hilarious, ironic.
I really enjoy the
pursuit.
Anime taking some initiative and adapting a sliver of the cover story.
Yeah. This is the result of the one wielding this technology, the one shooting these flower bullets, is Hibari of Navy HQ, a commander for Sword. She's on one of the roofs of the building shooting the flower bullets. She's like, "Oh, Kobe, I got your back, but don't think that means anything," she says, blushing. "I've prepared a bento lunch for you, but like don't think like it's just a friendship bento," she says, lying. And then Prince Groose,
I think,
is Navy HQ Rear Admiral, for again also a part of Sword. We get the reveal that he's the one controlling the clay soldiers, the mudmen, the golems. He's got some sort of mud power. And like the pirates are now running for their lives because they can't fight with flowers. But Kujaku's whipping has caused all the buildings to block their path. And we get another shot of Tashigi and Garp preparing to arrive on the island. Kobe is looking at the, Hibari throws a kind of a rope ladder down for him. And like for a second, it looks like Kobe's going to have like a very hard time climbing it because he also has to carry the iron ball. But before he can even accept this ladder, he turns around and his eyes are bugging out at the sight of Garp's ship flying through the air. And so we get this crazy animation of Garp going like total sicko mode and laughing, and his head is kind of like bobbing up and down as like the camera zooms in on him. And then he, everybody on the scene, everybody in the town is just sort of like turning and gawking and we're fucked as Garp jumps and leaps through the air with a big like laser hockey fist ready to go, shouting about how
galaxy wallpaper background behind him.
Yes. Shouting about how Kobe is the future of the Navy and also my beloved pupil. And I love, it's not just like that the background turns to space. Like you can, the kind of 3D effect where it's like when the camera pans around, it's like you can see where the line divides, where the space effect starts and like the real scene starts. Like you can kind of imagine this sort of planetarium, like 3D dome that's like almost like cupping around him from behind, but like super huge and from a distance. Like there's this like real sense that the scenery is attached to the attack.
Yeah, it was great, and this was kind of hyped up for what was it? Ishizuka was
Katsumi Ishizuka.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of we were talking, occasionally we talk about those cool One Piece card game leader cards. And there's there's a few of kind of similar styled artists who have been doing like some of the really cool classy looking ones lately. Mm-hmm. One of them is Katsumi Ishizuka, who's like mostly doing the super aggro aggressive, like cool badass ones. Like that black Kyros leader card, if you've seen that one.
I haven't seen the Kyros yet. I know like the Akainu one I have is totally him. I think he did it. Did he do a new Garp one or? Not
that I know. I know he's doing
I
like
think I'm getting confused with his just illustrations he's been posting.
Right, like I think he has a I'm blanking on his name, Kalgara.
Oh, okay.
And like he, there's and another like similar artist, like the one who did the Shanks Future Sight scene before is like Akihiro Ota. Like it's easy to just kind of describe them both as like scribbly, but like Ota is more like kind of this wet ink fluid vibe, and like Ishizuka is more like everything looks like an impact frame.
Like more like I wouldn't say dry brush, but very just
very action, very like everything's moving at you at the camera.
Yeah, but it kicked ass.
And yeah,
soon.
Big boom brings us to the eye catch of the episode. The whole town surrounding the castle of Beehive is destroyed, and Groos's mud has to like erupt and catch the ship, otherwise it would have just crashed. And we got, as everyone's sort of catching their breath and Kobe and Hibari are running to the ship, we got Kujaku and Groos. They're talking about how, like, oh, Garp always overdoing it. And Groos is annoyed that Garp said Kobe was the future of the Marines because, he would like to be complimented once in a while, We got Helmeppo on the ship crying happy tears for Kobe. Toshigi is kind of waving them over. Garp's asking Kobe, why do you still have that shackle on? And Hibari is trying to like answer. She's trying to be like, oh, well, we tried, but we couldn't for some reason. And then, the familiar icy footstep appears, and then suddenly Hibari is enclosed in ice.
Uh-oh.
And we got Monsieur Kuzan, who says, you fools, what do you think you've done here? And so Kuzan's not going to allow Kobe to run off while Teach is away. He's like, I was given responsibilities from my captain, who I am bizarrely loyal to. I wonder what the story there might be. So the narrator begins to explain, reminding us of the fight between Kuzan and Sakazuki. And I don't know if yes.
Yeah, I forgot to check if this was just the reusing the stuff that played at the end of Fishman Island.
Exactly what I was going to say, because like we specifically get this anime, like it's the classic scene of like Aokiji on one side, Akainu on the other side, blue half, red half, staring down. But in this explanation of the fight, we get like an animation of Kuzan like falling to his knees, and then Sakazuki mercifully turning around and walking away, having won the fight. Which I don't know if that was new. That didn't look. That was not in my memory of that scene before. But we get a flashback to some island in the New World, approximately probably 2-ish years ago, shortly after Akainu and Aokiji had their fight.
Definitely
Blackbeard
some time has passed, because we get mid-transition Blackbeard from Impel down to the current. He's got two beard tails.
Yeah.
I'm always a sucker for these like kind of halfway designs, you know, because it's like, you know, and usually this is the same time for animators and stuff, but like how characters just wear the same clothes all the time, or like how Goten and Trunks didn't age at all in Dragon Ball Super.
Right.
But so probably his worst fit, I would say. This didn't look good.
Right. Yeah. So Blackbeard is returning to what I presume is an island that's like his territory. You know, it's where he was expecting to reunite with part of his crew after some adventure elsewhere. But he's like, oh, there's ice everywhere. There's ice on this bar here. There's ice on this corner of what I presume is Sanwan Wolf. But they take some time before they do the full reveal that like over half of Blackbeard's crew is covered in ice. But Blackbeard's like, oh, only one man in the world could do this. And he steps into the bar and he sees Kuzan. And Kuzan's like, hey, man, chill. I'm having a bad day. Also, don't use your tremor powers because it'll just like the slight vibrations will kill your crew. And you know, Kuzan's about to kind of wax poetic about all the anguish he's been through as of late, and he, you know, slams his glass down on the table on the counter. Boom. To be continued.
Very abrupt cut for this. Like,
yes,
I think they wanted to end on that note. Like, this kind of reminds me of the Straw Hats all putting the mugs down.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it had it was a little abrupt.
Yeah, like you didn't like it didn't wait for like the like either it should have cut like right before you see the glass hit the counter.
Yeah,
like just kind of imply the full motion.
Yeah,
or like you gotta like give it a second, give us the image of the glass on the table, because otherwise it's like a 2-frame, just like halfway there, to be continued. Yeah. Lilith and Edison this week are talking about Helmeppo. General thoughts on Helmeppo, Steve?
Finally getting his due. He's getting his own little dedicated segment. One thing I just thought about was, like, and I've had this thought for a while, never really vocalized it, but it's so weird, you know, to like hear some people refer to like the arc with Captain Morgan as like the Shellstown arc or something like that, because it felt like the locations in One Piece weren't relevant until Poitiers.
Yeah, because the islands before that point they rarely even get names.
Yeah.
So like Shellstown does, like, people don't say Shellstown much in the manga or the show.
Right.
Some of it like I don't know if Shellstown is the example, but there's a couple of them where like it's purely data book information that tells us that.
Exactly. Yeah, because before we kind of used to do like the Dragon Ball thing where we kind of just referred to arcs by their villains,
right,
for a bit, but nah. But other than that, yeah, Helmeppo, he's so happy for some reason for Kobe to be back. But yeah, this was a fun episode. I think, yeah, really just the selling point here was Garp's gonna do something crazy, and he did. It looked wonderful. I love seeing more of the Sword members get to do fun stuff. Hibari has like such a great color scheme. Just these very pastel colors, and just I think it really kind of sells the kind of personality she has. And I know like her colors have kind of existed for the anime, obviously, but no, this was just fun. And, yeah, she's a cutie. But yeah, just some fun stuff that's not related to the Straw Hats right now, and just like some, you know, it's a little nautical because they're just fighting a bunch of rando pirates, but yeah, it was just solid, you know.
Yeah, I think I guess I had expectations that there's going to be a little more variety in this episode, like because you know, like we're about at that point, you know, where, you know, similar to like Law versus Blackbeard or Kid versus Shanks or Luffy versus Lucci. Like there are some episodes where it's like they do a good job of like okay, it's just going to be like bang 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 bang, like new crazy thing back to back. And I think that's still happening in this little side plot. Probably next week or in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But like, you know, like the way that you know, people online and like animators and stuff were like, it gave me the sense that, oh, this is gonna be one of those episodes, isn't it? But no, I
think that was the Kid and Shanks episode. That was the big event episode.
Well, because we still have Garp and Kuzan to go, and I think that's going to be pretty wild.
And some other
so
stuff.
yeah. I guess like I thought it would be more than one blowout scene and then like a bunch of normal scenes surrounding it.
Yeah, the pacing really slowed down after the commercial break. Not like it was a terrible episode. Not like a terrible episode. It was a really good episode.
Yeah,
but
yeah, like it's just compared to like the expectation I went into it with.
For sure.
Otherwise, you know, good scene, solid, everything else.
Indeed.
Anything else you want to mention before we move on to the next segment, Steve?
No, I'm all good.
All right,
let's
move on. Yeah, thank you, Steve.
Thank you. This is the Piece Together segment where we take your questions, comments, and find out who is this week's most dangerous dude. As always, we start off this segment with, what do we call it, Josh?
What's happening?
What? Are you doing your Joy Boy voice?
No. I feel like a spotlight just went on me and I don't know what you're talking about.
You know, Ed or someone else always says, "Deuce piece."
Oh. Okay, wait. Delaney, leave all this in. This piece.
Very menacing.
And that is over on our Discord server. If you're unaware, it's a certain tier on our Patreon. You can get your questions asked first, and usually we will humor most of them.
Asterisk.
All right.
I think Adam is our first one after last week's. I don't think we did that one.
Okay. Yeah. Why don't we start with Adam, Josh?
Okay. Okay. Adam says, "Who is your wild card for potential Conquerors hockey users? My hope is that Richie the Lion can use it. He's always dreamed of being captain." That would be cute.
That'd be pretty good. I'm just thinking of like the natural threat of like, you know, wild lion that can also use Conquerors. You know, he can knock you unconscious. That's a triple threat, folks.
Yeah, those antelopes are over.
They're like the fainting goats. There's no
Yeah.
I would really want to see Vivi get it. So then when she could yell out to a crowd, "Stop fighting," they'll stop fighting.
That's a good one. Yeah, Rafael. What do you think, Rafael? Who should have?
I just think who would be the funniest person to do it, and like he doesn't need it. Would have to be someone like Buggy would be funny to see him doing that, but he doesn't need it. He just commands people to faint just by saying something cute. So he does have it kind of already.
Yeah. They're like, "Yeah, I'll faint, boss. I'm on it."
Yeah.
Buggy doesn't have Conqueror's hockey, but the rumor starts to spread that he does. Like, he knocked down a whole room with just his voice.
I would like to see that version, yes.
Y'all were already down. You know what? I will go because I love her, even though she's just kind of diagnosed as baby girl. I'm gonna go with Shirahoshi just because I think it would be funny to take down a room with the power of anime tears.
I feel like I bet she does.
I think she has some kind of hockey, but I don't know if it's Conquerors.
Yeah. I mean, she's Poseidon, so she's already got some kind of super magical power, so not that far of a stretch.
And I gave her a buff.
I don't have one. I'm sorry. I don't know. Your guys' answers were funny. I like your guys' answers. I like Richie the Lion.
You like Richie the Lion. All right. You can move on. No pressure. We're not going to wait all day.
Okay, great. Thank you. User Today is Not a Good Day says, hey, OPP, today is the 10th anniversary of your quote-unquote favorite chapter. Chapter 755, A Man's World, which came out on August 4th, 2014 in Weekly Shonen Jump, issue 36. So my question is, if Sanji was fighting Senor Pink, how would he handle Queen? And if Frankie was sent to the Kamabaka Queendom, how would he handle the Kamabakas? Frankie would get so into it.
Oh, yeah. Frankie would love it.
Frankie would be like, oh, they know how to party.
Yeah.
Frankie's an ally. He would never do me wrong.
Remember when like Daniel Craig said he's like, oh, I go to gay clubs all the time. You know, like
Yeah.
Frankie would be all about that. Steven, were you on that manga recap, that legendary manga recap?
I'm almost positive I was.
Which I can't believe is 10 years ago. Don't have to talk about the upteenth time, but controversial statements at the time. I think it was just like, it was playful misogyny that just didn't sit well.
Yeah.
With Sanji, though, like, I don't think Sanji would ever say, like, it was like, pull a Sean Connery and Goldmember saying, like, it's like, you know, a woman should keep her mouth shut or something like that.
Right.
I know I'm not, this isn't word for word what Frankie said and all that, but I feel like Sanji is all about, you know, as perverted as modern Sanji is, he's all about propping the voices of women. So
like Frank, what I remember was Frankie said, like, you know, the only way to, you know, the best way to stop a woman from squalling is to, you know, plant a big fat one on her lips, basically, and you know, that was his whole thing. Sanji would never do that. He would be Sanji's too cowardly to do that, let's just say. So yeah, I don't know what he would do.
I feel like if I could predict crappy Sanji writing, he would just be like, ugh, it's like that Senor Pinky surrounded by beautiful girls. I wish that were me. You know?
Oh yeah.
Like, you know. Ugh.
But in like a woman honoring way.
women only like assholes. That's I think how it would have gone down. But Sanji wouldn't have hit like Senor Pink with like a super German suplex.
No, he wouldn't have.
So,
No.
I guess it all kind of worked out in the end.
Okay. Kramu says, ahoy, OPP, banger chapter as always. What a cute shout out to Horikoshi from Oda with that cover page. I really love how sweet Emmett D. Robinosuke's whole deal was this chapter. And eyes emoji at the implication that the elders may indeed be manifestations of Emu. Ooh. My question is, do you think Joy Boy ever got Emmett a Happy Meal? Or do you think they prefer different fast food over Mackie D's? Have a great week. I hope he did.
Do you think that Emmett, like a true New Englander, likes some munchkins? He likes some munchkins.
Hey, Delaney, what's a munchkin?
Yeah, you're going to have to.
Oh, my God. Delaney, I was with you. I can't believe we're on our own.
Is this a dunking thing?
Yeah, I'm sorry everyone else is fake. It's a donut hole, basically.
Oh, okay.
You just get a big box of them from Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah,
like
yeah. Look at this New England supremacy. The rest of us three get bullied.
I'm from New York. How dare you?
We all don't know what it's like to have to decide between the Dunkin' on one end of the block to the Dunkin' on the other end of the block. Mm-hmm. They're really important choices in life you have to make, and
I mean, Lewis
I'm
Black
sorry you
was
can't
making
relate.
jokes about Starbucks like that 20 years ago. So,
Raphael, did Joy Boy get Emmett a Happy Meal?
Yes, but the question is before or after he put a bomb in it.
That was to make the bomb okay.
Yeah.
Yep. He did that thing when you have to give a kid really bad news, and you lead with the Happy Meal, and yeah, we're gonna go play. Oh, we're gonna play, buddy. Yeah, that sounds like a great day, and you're just kind of bracing.
Put a bomb in them, yeah.
No.
He's got his chicken nuggies.
It's
Make sure.
It's funny that you referenced donuts, Delaney, because I was raised with two cousins, and the younger one, whenever you would do what young boys do to each other, where they beat up the younger one, we would be like, if you stop crying, you'll get a donut to avoid getting in trouble. So if you stop being upset about the knot of hockey that I've put in you, you can have a happy meal.
I feel like the way I read it is, he says, I'm going to save you all the way from the past, just like I always do, don't I? So Joy Boy is constantly saving Emmett somehow. So I'm just imagining, Emmett's got a blanket draped over his shoulders. He's like, come on, buddy. Oh, we'll get you some McDonald's on the way home.
Oh, he's carrying around his whoopee.
I was, very brave little toaster and Blanky vibes right there.
Yeah.
I was gonna joke when you guys were joking about sneaking bomb into a bomb into his Happy Meal. I was almost thinking I was just putting medicine in a slice of cheese. Here you go, Emmett. Want some cheese? Yeah. Tastes kind of bitter.
Hey, champ, have a blizzard.
Our parents are getting a divorce.
I'm leaving, Nika.
Yeah, we're erasing this century. So Professional Poyo says, howdy, OPP. With this banner chapter and the final chapter of My Hero Academia, it's been quite a day for manga. I love how Marcus Mars was just sitting there this whole time, not even bothering to go back after being catapulted. What kind of Home Alone style shenanigans do you think he got up to with the time he had the house to himself?
Oh, that's good.
Home Alone.
Yeah, that's the look.
That's
the look.
Let's have a Home Alone.
Yeah.
So, I'm thinking the traps and stuff, and I'm forgetting about the
literal
Home Alone,
the aftershave.
The aftershave.
Yeah.
Oh, it would be fucking hilarious if they came back. Marcus Mars just has a clean shaven face. He's got pieces of toilet paper everywhere.
They were gone for 15 minutes, so we tried a new look.
Yeah, no, that
I'm gonna go with a relatively boring answer and say he didn't move for a second because he wanted that chair.
Yeah,
and he was not gonna let anyone take that chair away from him.
Yeah,
he's covered in cobwebs.
He's giving him that look that's like, all right, there's a booby trap here, and I'm gonna watch you until one of you accidentally sets it off.
Yeah, he did Goldilocks, where he sampled every chair based on softness and firmness, selected that spot.
If he pulled a prank on them, he's smearing off icing them. He's waiting for one of them to be like, oh, God damn it. I just got my ass kicked. I got to drink this now.
He only actually sat down once he put in his VHS copy of Angels with Filthy Souls, which you can't see because it's on the other side of the frame.
He's got a bucket of paint on a 100-foot rope, and it's gonna hit one of them.
Yeah. Okay. Frankie's Smaller Hands says, hey, OPP, I don't know if you noticed this, but I think Oda just confirmed Joy Boy was not a giant. So what about that big straw hat? Do you think the world government only saw him as a giant, or does the hat belong to Emmett? With super love, me.
That is a good point.
Of course he gave a hat to his son.
Yeah. It's like a mother boy pageant where you have matching outfits. Definitely give him a hat.
I could imagine
you're Peter Pan and I'm Captain Hook.
I could imagine Emmett's probably oh, that hat's so cool. Could you give one to me? Or maybe it was like a parting gift or something like that. Because we don't know when this conversation happened. Obviously they've known each other for a while, but it might not have been the last time they ever talked or something.
You give him a hat, a bomb, and McDonald's. That's so sweet.
God.
That was from the beach day that they had before he told him about the bomb. All right, now wear your bucket out, buddy. You gotta keep. The sun's bad for your skin.
What if it's just some Roswell stuff? What if that giant straw hat is just a UFO?
I mean, there's still a whole deal with the moon, so we.
Yeah, that's how.
Yeah,
That's how they get. That's
yeah.
how they get Eneru back. Yeah.
I'm only kind of half joking.
Okay. Lil Cop says, "Hey OPP, don't you think Emmett was such a cute robot back in the day?" I think we've made that clear. I get Chopper vibes from his quote unquote younger self. I think Raphael said that exactly. All of you are awesome people. Made sure to add the third emoji for my goat, Steve Yurko. So there's a Yurko liker in the chat.
It's a reference to the last time where I don't know, they gave us 2 emotes.
Sunglass emojis.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
The rare Yurko liker. Yeah, Lil Cop, your sentiments were widely shared.
Yeah, you're one of the Yurkonauts. So.
Our final disc piece comes from Sailor Carnes Universal. Hey OPP, hope I'm not too late. I just want to say that I screamed no when I read Kobe's panels. I haven't been right since. No, truly, when I was like giving my thoughts about the chapter, like the hockey moment was cool, but like it really did bring into stark relief that Luffy and Kobe have to come head to head because their goals are diametrically opposed, and I think it's going to hurt. And I'm sad in advance.
When you were saying that, Josh, I actually thought it really set in for me, which I haven't thought about in a while, like how absent Garp has been. Because, like, obviously Garp, we don't know where he is, but, like, it more that I felt it. Don't look at me like that, Steve.
He's not doing too well last time
I
we saw
know
him.
he's not, but, like, like, you would always expect, because you've been conditioned, it's like, well, Garp was there for the Age of Pirates and watching all that, and now having to watch Kobe start making those kind of decisions on his own and be, like, new metal Garp, it's like, oh, this just feels... there's a vacancy here. There's an empty seat.
We've gone full Fox and the Hound now.
Oh no!
No.
It's gonna be a real bummer.
You're the best of friends.
But what if it isn't? What, like, we're all assuming they're actually gonna like fight or have some sort of confrontation, but I'm kind of certain that whenever it comes to that, Luffy will be the first one to be like, oh. Like what? You want the One Piece? You go take it. I don't care.
Something I forgot to talk about in this chapter was, Emmett referring to like making Joy Boy king. Sorry that I couldn't make you king, and like that kind of stuff doesn't sit well with me. But I'll let the story unfold because like the whole it's always like Luffy wants to be king of the pirates, pirate king, but it's always had a different meaning. It's not just like your standard king. He, like Luffy has said, the king of the pirates is the one who's most free. Luffy doesn't want to rule over anything. Who knows? I don't know if that's what Joy Boy wanted to do. Mm-hmm. But I always, like, I've said this for years, but I always feel like if, when Luffy's told, like, oh, you're like the reincarnation of Nika or Joy Boy or all this, or you're destined to, rule the world, like, Luffy's going to be like, he's going to pick his nose with his pinky and say, nah, I'm not that interested.
He has to. I mean, with regards to what you're saying, Raphael, I don't know. I can't see either of them like backing down. And like if I were telling the story, it would happen before they get to the One Piece. So like it would be an unstoppable force and an immovable object, and somebody's gonna get their heart.
It's
broken.
Gonna come full circle because, like I talked about at Marineford, like Luffy just like flicked Kobe away like he was nothing. Now it's different, and I think now like Kobe's gonna put up a fight. I don't necessarily think they're equal in strength. I'm getting to I'm getting the dangerous dude territory here, but I think it's gonna be very different this time. It's like Kobe's actually gonna put up a fight.
Yeah,
I was gonna make a Venture Brothers reference, but it's like when 21 fought Brock in season 4.
So true. Yeah. So true, girly. That's it for Dispies.
Cool. As far as I know, we don't have anything else. Nothing on Reddit, no emails, and nothing on Twitter. So I think we could just take this podcast to its close. Y'all ready?
Yes.
Let's get dangerous.
This has been the One Piece Podcast, episode 829 for the week of Monday, August 5th, 2024. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining me today. Thank you all for listening. It was a great chapter. Unfortunately, though, Shonen Jump itself is on break next week, but don't you fret. Steven and Greg are coming back next week with another SGS. Any preview for that, Steven? What do the people haven't?
I don't know. I'll throw a tentative because I still haven't checked with Greg just to confirm that he is available for it, but he usually is. So we will proceed with that expectation.
So it's a maybe. Okay. So. So if we do have an SGS, that's the treat in itself. I don't know. But yeah, the magazine is off, so we won't have our standard affair next week. But we're hoping to have an SGS. Hoping to have something for you, and then we will return next week when the magazine and the manga obviously returns. But let's go around the horn here. Give everyone their chance to plug. Let's start with Rafael. Rafael, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you.
It was a pleasure.
It was my absolute pleasure, guys. Thank you for having me. You can find me. I'm still on the Twitters at Rafael Motamayor, and you can find my writing on SlashFilm, IGN, IndieWire, and a bunch of places. I just post everything on my socials anyway. I think that's the easiest way.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What have you done recently, or like, is there anything coming up that you want people to look forward to?
Recently I've been on the non-anime bit. I've been recapping the last season of Snowpiercer for Vulture.com. It's a fun show. I enjoyed it. It's coming to an end. I've been writing a bunch of Kite Man, the Harley Quinn spin-off, over at IndieWire. And hopefully I have some cool stuff that I can't talk about until they get posted.
Cool.
Alrighty, yeah. Like you said, go check them out on Twitter and those social medias, and get and find out when these articles are dropping. But also, Delaney, always good to have you on the show proper, not just as a overlooking specter.
Not just as a Victorian ghost. I get to be a Victorian alive.
Yeah, it was so nice to meet you in the basement of the New York Public Library. Anyway, where could the good people find you? Obviously not the New York Public Library, which is closed on weekends now, right?
I heard they reopened it. I think
Good.
I think Adams pulled that back.
Good.
I hope that's true. If that's not true, Delaney, take it out of the episode.
Well, now my hours are cut down, so it's bad either way. So same places as usual. Twitter at Delaney L. Jordan. I'm on Patreon at Infinite Snow Productions. I have a Blue Sky. I don't use it. I have some video content coming out this weekend. Finally. So I took a break from my movie length essay about the film Wish because it was eroding me mentally.
Bro, you've got to finish that video.
I will get there, but I have a video coming out called The Snow White Paradox this coming weekend. Just a
I didn't know there was one.
The answer may surprise you. Topic that's very near and dear to my heart and also my face, about Snow White adaptation and how if you're yelling at Rachel Ziegler, you're a bitch. So, look forward to that. That'll be up soon. And I'm very excited to have something out in the world. I know it's been a second.
Thanks for coming on, and thanks as always for helping us out and editing the episode and posting too. For those that may be unaware.
Thank you for posting, Delaney.
Even if you care. Thank you for posting, Delaney.
I'm posting through it.
And by that I mean helping making sure the podcast, gets on the internet, so you could listen to it every Monday. Thank you so much for making that happen.
Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome. Josh, what are you doing?
Who knows?
What are you doing?
I don't know anymore. As always, you can find my gay little drawings on Twitter and Instagram, user Amons, AMONNS. You can also find me on Letterboxd if you want to hear my thoughts about all the movies that I see, which there are many on Letterboxd, AMONNS. Come see us in New York. We already said it, but come see us in New York. All of the prettiest ones are going to be there. So,
no denying that. And Steven.
Yeah, not one of the prettiest. Just gonna confirm that for you all right there. Yeah, you can follow me on Blue Sky at stephenpaul.bsky.social. Where I have been posting my idle thoughts about my One Piece series reread that I've been doing. It was very strange to see today. I'm currently right at the end of Fishman Island, and I literally saw the scene where Caribou overhears that Shirahoshi is Poseidon, and then in today's chapter he's delivering that. He's about to deliver that news to Blackbeard. So. Some strange coincidences there. Odd things happen when you follow One Piece this long. And if you are curious about that, I do post occasional thoughts. Otherwise, you can just keep on following One Piece, which is not ending, unlike My Hero Academia. I am still chained to this desk. Working on that, and Akane Banashi and Shoha Shoten. You can read all of those on the Shonen Jump and Manga Plus apps.
Imagine sitting in a barrel for all of the biggest events in the world, but you're just in a barrel. That's men would rather be in a barrel than help fix the world.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you as a man in a barrel?
Thank you, Steven.
And Steve, what about you?
Yes. Well, me, I'll plug everyone else. Zach, who couldn't be here, still on leave, is at Zach Logan, I guess, on Blue Sky. I think that's where he is these days. As for me, you know me, it's Steve Yurko on social medias. I'm on Letterboxd too. Follow me on Letterboxd. Sometimes I watch a movie. Sometimes I have things to say. Other times I'm just being stupid. Also, check out 4Kids Flashback, the podcast I do with Tara Sands. Check out ProZD Plays Games, the Let's Play channel I do with ProZD over on YouTube. And as for the podcast, you could find us at our website. That's onepiecepodcast.com. Subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you get your podcasts. Follow us on social media. Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, One Piece Podcast, for Piece the Tweet. If you ever want to send in questions, email us at onepiecepodcast@gmail.com or use that hashtag Piece the Tweet over on Twitter and join us on our Discord as well. Also, check us out on twitch.tv where some of our members stream games every week over there. And I think, YouTube, we upload our podcast there as well. If that's where you prefer to listen to them, find us over on YouTube. And I think that's about it. There's a Skype number. I don't remember it. No one remembers Skype anymore. So, challenge me. I dare you to leave a voicemail. We're not going to find it.
Delaney, let's leave Skype messages. I think that.
Please Skype messages.
Yeah.
Come at me, Steve from TV.
Prove you're the most dangerous dude.
Oh, you got the gumption to stand up to Steve Yurko?
Just hearing those fists.
Yeah.
Those cuffs.
Marquis of Queensberry rules.
And our boys across the seas fighting the good fight.
I'm doing my part too.
Well, it's been a fun one. It's been a unique one. And if you couldn't tell, we record this at a different time of day. I feel fresh. I hope you all too are feeling fresh as well. Enjoy your evenings. My name is Steve. Take care, everybody.
Bye, Z's.